All right. Teri, it's nice to see you.
Same. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Why don't we start maybe just by having you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your company?
Teri Simonton, one of the founders and current CEO of Pixelmongers in Oklahoma, right outside of Oklahoma City. We're web development, web design. At one point, we were doing software development. So we've kind of done a full range, a little bit of digital marketing too, depending on what the client needs.
All right. Awesome. Well, got a few questions we're going to go through today. Thanks for being open and willing to share with everybody. So to start, what led you to become an entrepreneur?
A dare.
A dare? Tell me more about that. Okay.
My deceased partner and I were both part of a organization, a group, like a web managers group in the early 2000s. And I was pregnant with my second child at the time. And we were kidding around about something. I said, we should just start a business together. And it was literally like, oh, don't even go there, and it led to, him kind of daring me to take that step. And early 2000s, flexibility for moms and their kids were a bit less available.
Right. Yeah.
And so by 2003, we'd started our first company together. And by 2007, I was full-time at it. So,
All right.
yeah. And so really what it gave me the most was something that was hard to do when you're climbing that corporate ladder, was flexibility, that if I needed to go to my kids' school and attend something, I could. There was nobody to ask permission if I needed to make up for that time on a weekend or evening. There was no weird, checking in if I was doing overtime, or it was all my time.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to not want that ever since.
Right.
There's been considerations of, oh, would you go back to work for, so-and-so, and I'm just like, my kids are full grown now, but the flexibility, is what I love. And although I am a little bit of a workaholic, I can kind of balance that when there's something that I really want to participate in, or my grown kids just say, Mom, we need you to come come do this with us, or let's take a trip. And I'm like, absolutely. I can take my work with me if I need to. It's not a problem.
Right. Once you get that freedom and flexibility and ability to kind of do everything on your own terms, it's hard to go back, right?
Yes. And it is not unknown that clients, that I'll pull a client meeting, especially with video conferencing, whatever location I'm at.
Right.
And sometimes they kind of say, where are you at this month? But it just means that I'm able to take my work wherever I need to take it if I'm on the road, and it doesn't affect really, the quality that I'm able to deliver.
Yeah.
So
I think what we recently saw you it's snow skiing, right? Were you in?
I was in Telluride, but I don't.
Telluride,
right. I don't ski. I'm actually taking lessons in whitefish at the end of the
Oh, good.
So, yeah, a lot lower elevation, where I could breathe.
Yeah.
Breathing is important.
Yeah, it's an adjustment. All right, awesome. So Teri, tell me, how do you define success?
How do I define success? Success is just the ability to me, success is when I have completed a client project, or if I have clients that I've had for more than a decade. We complete a particular milestone with them. They're happy. Everybody's on the same page. The bills are paid. My W-2s are happy. I have staff that's been with us for a while, and I've got partners that we just have worked with for a long time. It's just making sure everybody's on the same page. We value each other's contributions, whether it's a client, a contractor, one of my staff members. We're all just a team. There's no hierarchy. It's not something that I've really wanted as part of a business. So although I've gone past the freelancer kind of part of it, we're still just a team. Okay, the lighting is,
You're,
the sun
you're
is
saying
coming in this morning.
you're in the like aura. There's an aura around you.
The
Good.
sun's coming in the windows. So
Yeah, no, I know. It's that time of day. All right, good. So obviously we know each other through the Women's Growth Collab. Could you share how the collab has supported you in your business and meeting your goals?
I lost my founding partner I knew him since 1999. And so you guys the collab kind of came along right in that period where I was, he had just passed away at Christmas of 21. And we were just at the period of trying to figure out where everything is, trying to just come to grips with the entire losing a vital part of the company. And you guys kind of came along and helped me. It's almost like you're now my sounding board. You're making me think of things that I never, he took care of the administrative portion of so much that now it was like I was kind of floundering on my own there for a bit, between the grief and the trying to figure out how I was going to reorganize the company. That having the collab group, and having specifically a women's collab group who understood some of the challenges that we juggle, was kind of, I almost want to say, like, it was crucial. I don't know how it worked out, the timing of it all, but it's been fantastic, because I feel like you guys kind of keep us almost on task of things to think about in terms of, and there it goes again, in terms of working on the business instead of just business. It's very easy for me to lose myself in projects and working with clients and not necessarily thinking about the company as a whole, other than the day-to-day, is payroll going to be matched? Where are we on this project? Why are we behind? Things like that. You guys were more about, like, what are your goals? What are your objectives? How are you getting there? Are you thinking of the following? And not having my original partner that shared those kind of responsibilities with me, all of a sudden it's on me, and you guys help me kind of keep it in perspective without feeling overwhelmed, where I actually go, I can do this. It's, I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Good.
It's been great. It's been great, because although I attend, local networking stuff, it's never from a perspective that I feel is more of the entrepreneurial female perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always very a male dominated kind of coaching. I guess I would call that. Not that that's bad, because I get tips from that, but it's not the same perspective as I've come to kind of expect from the Women's Collab.
Awesome. Thank you, Teri. And we love having you as a part of it. Your contributions are very valuable. I'm serious. Your creativity and the way that you think has made a big impact on the collab. So,
well, the group thing has been new to me. The group, it's a group accountability.
Yes, right.
Past the girlfriend level, more of the, hey, what are you thinking of this, and why? Why is that a thing? Is that really as important as you think it is? And it's almost, let me see if I can get this said. It's almost like you have to stop for a moment. I love how when they make certain people just kind of stop and go, huh, I hadn't thought about it that way, or maybe that shouldn't be as important as I've assigned it. I think that's really important to kind of have those checks and balances in your own kind of mental perspective of how you're looking at the business.
Right. Because we all have beliefs and opinions, and sometimes when they're not checked, like you said, and they're just going around in our head, we start to believe that they're facts. And
yes, exactly.
If there's nobody kind of questioning that, or pushing that a little bit, then we just sort of stay in that.
Yeah, it's like your goal is always, drive revenue, do this, do that, but you've got to stop and think, wait, do you really need to reach this goal if you've already reached this goal? And should you instead focus on these two other things, and release, the stress that this other thing is unnecessarily causing you? And that was That's so fantastic to have somebody kind of check you on that. Because when it's just you running a business, it's, you don't always have that in your head.
Right.
And although the staff give you feedback and you have colleagues, it's not always the same situation.
Mhm.
You know, what's coaching for one business doesn't equal the same for another business. Totally different, clientele or issues,
Right. And one of the things, that we know about women is we think we can do it all, right? I can do all the things. I can do all the goals. I can, drive all these things and, have a family and be there for everybody else.
Exactly.
And sometimes, you need somebody to say, as you just said, do you really have to do all those things right now? Because what happens is if you're putting your energy into 25 different things, then nothing really moves forward.
You become overwhelmed. You feel like there's burnout on the horizon. No, it's been great. And it's been great to have the monthly kind of, where are you on these goals you've set for yourselves, or why isn't it working? Should you reconsider, exactly what it is you're trying to do? And I think and it's a nice diverse group that is part of it, that can give us different perspectives to kind of look at it a little differently. So some of us type personalities will kind of have stop and go, okay, let me reconsider that from your view,
Yeah, good. Thank you. So Teri, if you think kind of back over your life, what female business leaders have inspired you?
I'll be honest, I haven't given that much thought. Probably because I'm not a heavy business leader follower.
Yeah.
I
Nothing.
I have nothing.
Okay.
I mean, does this sound bad? That sounds awful, doesn't it?
No.
I've just never really followed anybody. I've never really gone and say, I read a lot and stuff, but I've never really been like, ooh, they inspire me to be more.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. So you talked about goals. What are your goals for yourself and your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
I'd like to, because I've lost my partner, we're kind of reorganizing the services we offer. So I'd like to be where we were pre-COVID. That is literally like a 3-year goal, right? Within the next year or two, I'd like to get us to pre-COVID levels. I'd like to grow the staff enough that it's easier, and this is a personal goal, that it's easier for me to travel a little bit more and disconnect.
Yeah.
So I would say the majority of my 40s, if I traveled, I never disconnected, ever. It was not a thing.
Right.
As I become older and my husband and I's personal goals involve a lot more travel, I do find the benefit of disconnecting, just essentially going off the grid, to be much more, I don't want to say refreshing, but much more of a wellness, a self-care thing.
Yeah.
However, the other side of me wants to learn. I'm a learner by nature. And my goals for the company means we're in the type of business that's constantly changing.
Definitely.
And it's a challenge keeping up. And so with the growth of the staff, I'm hoping to bring on a few more skills, keeping up with more of where our clients need to be, especially since I do a lot of government contracts. And they always seem to be a little behind the curve adopting new things. But no, the goal is to grow just a little bit more. I'm not into big growth because I feel like once the big growth is there, I'm not as involved in projects.
Okay.
I like to feel involved with projects. I like to feel involved with my clients. I'd like to know what's going on. Where if I need to help out, I have the same skill sets to help out. And that may be a little too controlling, but we're a team and we should be able to back each other up. And I feel very strongly that as a leader, I should be able to back them up if they need time off too, right? So a little bit of growth, pre-COVID revenue back to where we were, minus a leading partner, right? And just be able to personally travel more. That's on my list.
Right. And spend time with your family. I know that's important to you.
Well,
Kids and your husband.
yes, but they're all grown with their own lives. So it's more of an empty nester goal.
Right. Yeah.
Get out there before the grandkids show up.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
once the grandkids show up, your travel plans change dramatically.
Yeah.
If they give me grandkids. But no, I want to see more of the world. And that was harder to do in my 40s.
Yeah.
Harder because we had younger children and even though I was flexible, it was all targeted toward them.
Mhm. Yeah. And when you get to be an empty nester, that's one of the things that, like you said, hopefully life will allow you, and you have to be proactive and you have to be intentional about making that time
And
available.
that is, nobody's going to plan it for you.
Right. Exactly.
You know, the 40s is like, oh, when the kids leave home, I'm going to do X. I'm like, okay, the kids are gone. I've started to do the following. What do I need work-wise, to give me a little bit more freedom to disconnect, but where I'm still very comfortable with who I've left behind and taking care of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just building your team with people you absolutely trust to just handle things while you're gone. And that's a big deal,
It is
it's not just staff. It's not just whatever I'm going to pass on my clients. I'm very involved with all my projects. So
it's a team member, right? It's part of a team. You guys clearly operate as a team. And you mentioned earlier that, maybe it's controlling. I think the fact that you enjoy what you do and that you like helping the clients, it's more about that, the connection, the support, and the passion that you have for it versus
exactly
everything has to be my way. It doesn't. I don't think it's that way.
And my clients have no problem texting me and asking me a question or calling me and asking me if I have a minute, even though they may primarily be working with a different team member. They're just kind of bouncing things off of me on a potential, new, way of thinking or a new project. And I'm always reachable. So I feel like if they're asking me something about the project, I need to be able to either make a change, pivot quickly and because something is changing in their particular company, or need to be able to talk to a team member and say, okay, let's look at this again. They have some concerns, and still really know what things are happening. I've never been much of what I call a figurehead. I've always just been another team member. Sometimes I'm the team leader on a project. Sometimes I'm just kind of in the background, lending a hand where it needs to be. So.
All right. Well, thank you. Anything else that you like to share? Or?
No, I'm excited to have the Collab group as part of 2023. I think it's a nice, it's different. It's a nice kind of a leadership group that's helping me think outside the box and keeping things in perspective.
Awesome.
Keeping me out of the tunnel vision that we sometimes get. And listening to their issues and how their particular industry might look at something differently is definitely a plus. It's an asset to how I want to look at things for us. It's a great thing to be outside of your bubble.
Good. Awesome. Well, we're happy that you're part of our collab. You definitely, as I mentioned earlier, are a great contributor and fun. Bring the fun too. So, thanks, Teri, for making time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.